What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I am your host, Ronald, also known as Youcapper Sports on Twitter. We got my guy Chris be capping with me. There was no show yesterday for multiple reasons. One, dude, the night before, I played basketball for the first time in a long time. My whole body was sore. I didn't want to like walk around or do anything at all. But I've been I was on a cold streak for about a week and a half. Yesterday, got on a good. I mean, I only gave out one play to clients. That one hit, but I showed we had that group chat that we're in, and I hit all four of my bets. That personally, I just a little bit gun shy after the week has gone. Like I was talking to you before the show, dude. Like three of the last four bets, like I literally lost on the last second or unders going into OT. It's just stupid stuff that been happening that kind of got my like confidence at a low. Yesterday though, like I said, well Friday, on Friday we had a good show. Were you on the show on Friday? Yeah, that was the show. I was like, yeah, I love everything that we're talking about, and we did good that day. And then yesterday, again, I felt pretty confident about those plays, and they hit. So hopefully we're turning the corner here and starting off a good streak. Chris, man, how's your week been going?
Yeah, so what's today? Wednesday. So Monday I had today's Monday. So no, day Wednesday. So Monday I had a pretty good day. I see bounce back. I think from I didn't play a lot. I went 2-1 on Monday, but on Sunday I got smashed. On Sunday I went 4-1. On Saturday I went 0-4. So it's just been kind of flipping back and forth, RC, for me. But overall, I think last week was a really really good week overall.
Yeah,
I think I went 13-5-1 last week, so I was sitting
love it.
72% last week. Then two conflicting days on the weekend, but this week has been it's been up and down again. Yesterday I didn't do as well, 3-5. Just a lot of first quarter, first halves that I took that didn't go my way. But it's all good. We bounce back like we always do, and trust the data and turn it around.
Yeah, love it. All right, well, let's get into today's games. I think we have some alignment here, and also some games that we want to just talk over because we see some leans that we want to get there with. But let's see if we can find some support. Obviously, we get two heads is better than one here, especially the way that we look at the games. Let me move into screen sharing mode. There you go. All right, first up, let's go into that Wizards Atlanta game. I know you like the over in this one. What did I have for this? Oh, so okay, yeah. Well, talk about that over game, that overplay that you like.
Yeah, I see. So just to set the stage, you get an Atlanta team that's coming off two straight losses. They've been playing against some pretty good defensive teams in their recent matchups. They had the back-to-back games against the Miami Heat in Miami, and they lost both of those games. But even throughout them, losing those games, they still been able to score the ball. I got Atlanta as being the second highest rated offensive team post All-Star break, RC, which is crazy because we always talk about the Sacramento Kings and how good they are offensively. We know that they're the best offensive team, but Atlanta is actually has the second highest offensive rating post All-Star break, behind only the Sacramento Kings.
You said Miami?
Uh, no, Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Has it been like
So
7 games so far?
yeah, I think it's been like 7 or 8 games. You can, if you go all the way down to the bottom, I see you can click post All-Star break at the bottom. No. Go back up to the last 7 games. You can. It's like
Oh
all the way
shoot.
at the
Okay,
bottom.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's what how I've been like looking at stats more recently.
Okay.
So looking at Atlanta's
Damn.
second highest
Yeah.
offensive rating over the last, and then you get the Wizards, who I got the Wizards ranked 20th defensively post All-Star break. I see if you go there and look at that, and they're on the second leg of a back-to-back, which typically means more points as well. And then another thing I looked at over on Spodes, I see, was the Wizards when they do have their combination of Bill, Porzingis, and Kuzma, because we know some of those guys have been out throughout the season.
Yeah.
As home dogs, they're 3-1 to the over. I think the Wizards in general, as a home dog, typically lend to the over as well. I know it's only a 4-game sample, but they have gone over in that spot with Bill, Porzingis, and Kuzma all playing. And they're going over by average about like 4 points. So I took the over this morning when I was doing my morning show at 234.5. I still like it right now, and I got a little more support I want to show you as well.
Hey, do you know if before you add on to it, do you know if Monte
So
Morris
he's still listed as questionable. I kind of feel like he should probably play in this game. He didn't play last night in Detroit, so I kind of feel like I'm not
I
100%
feel
sure. I
like
know
he's playing today from what I've seen. So that's the thing that I wanted to see. Obviously, we talked about it on the show. Their offense is a lot better with him than
Mhm.
without him. So I definitely like the overplay, especially if he's going to be in there. I know he's been out for a while, and we typically fade that, but at the same time, I think they're in desperation mode right now.
I would
I
agree.
just
He
wanted to see
officially
if they,
listed as questionable, I see, 40
okay,
minutes ago.
okay, gotcha. All right, so go ahead and add on.
Yeah, so now that we're back on Killer Sports, I see. Let's look at the Hawks as road favorites.
Damn, 9-1 to the over.
Yeah, you see the total is about 224 points, and then
Uh,
200 what is the 240 44 points. My fault, and which gives us some room on this uh over as well.
236 and a half.
And
Yeah.
then if we look at the Wizards, see, I didn't look at this, but look at the Wizards as home dogs. I feel like this is a spot where they typically go over when they're not projected to score as many points.
Yeah.
So yeah, 9-4-1.
And their totals have been lower earlier in the season, but um, I think for the most part, I just feel like that it's a good spot here. I think you're making a good case for this over here. I know average wise, it doesn't seem like a lot, but they've been playing some really defensive minded teams here, and that's why the totals were a lot lower. Also, the fact that they haven't been without Monte Morris as well. I think their totals were down for
Yeah,
that part as well.
I think also I see. I think they move to the pace of the team that they're playing against, right? Like they're one of those teams that let the other team kind of dictate the pace of the game. So if
Yeah,
the other team is playing slow, they play slow, and if the other
yeah,
team is playing fast, it seems like they play up to the other team as well. Because this is the same team that is that game against the Wizard against the Warriors on there? I see. I don't think
yeah. The
it's
game against the Warriors is there.
like so like
Yeah,
against the Warriors, like they can score, 118 points. Against the Suns, they score 127. So it just
yeah.
seems like a team like the Hawks that are scoring a lot. I would think that the game goes over. It looks like the market is agreeing with me as well, and the total has gone up.
Yeah, so we're looking at these higher totals too, especially at home, 6-1 to the over. So a lot of things really pointing in that direction for that over. So that makes a lot of sense here. And like you said though, it did go up, but it seems like there's still some room. 235 and a half, 236, 236 and a half all through the books. But it almost seems like they're gonna hit that 240 mark, right?
I would say so. I see. This is one that I wouldn't be afraid of, playing. If you got a good number at 234, of course that's what you want. But
Yeah.
I also think that if it goes over, it probably gonna go over a little bit more than just the 1 point, based on the cushion that we're seeing.
That's a good look. I like that overlook. That I'm gonna. You already took it.
I took it this morning as soon as it literally went live. I see while I was doing my show at 4 a.m. your time, and I put it in as soon as it dropped.
Yeah. So one way that I was looking at it, I actually dropped this. I've been doing. I don't know if you saw it, but I've been doing like the last couple of days.
The shorts,
The shorts, yeah.
yeah,
So basically, what we do here, but just like really quick and easy. I'm gonna try and do that consistently every day. If it's NBA, MLB, whatever it might be, but some type of trend of the day. And it also gives viewers just a quick because we break these down really
in depth,
differently on the show versus like
yeah.
really detailed. Those shorts they just make it really quick and easy. It gives the simple syntax as well for people who want to learn. So I want to continue doing that. Hopefully that's beneficial to some people. But this is one way that I looked at it. So I looked at this season 2022 home dogs on the second leg of back-to-back games versus a rested team, and then the home dog is coming off of a win. They've actually been continuing to cover 14-2-2 against the spread, and that's just to take the Wizards here. It did get up to 4.5 or whatever, but I do see it coming down. So it might seem like there's some buyback this way, and also see some threes here coming. So it might be time to hop on the Wizards here before it gets too late. But I do like that look a lot here. That might be one of the things that I might be adding to the card. I only took that one of the games that we'll talk about later, but I only took one play so far. But this one for sure is in my radar as far as something I'm going to be betting on. Hopefully by the end of the show, it's still at 3.5 because I think that would be ideal. Anything else to add on this one from a prop perspective or something like that?
I see Vaughn just gave out Capella double. I think that's absolutely in play. I mean, if you just watched the game last night, like Wiseman, pretty much did whatever he wanted to in the paint against this team. They don't have, somebody that's going to stop anybody that's, being physical. I know Capella has been going over his points plus rebounds. I know somebody came in and dropped that on my show the other day. I think it's been pretty consistent as well. So I think the double for Capella is absolutely in play today, but I didn't touch any props yet.
Let's look at that points and rebounds for Capella. Let me just do this. Clint Capella.
Yeah, right there.
There you go. 4 out of the 6, 21.5. So he's averaging 22.3 points and rebounds. Matchup wise for centers, 16th. When he does go over by about 4. One thing that I've been looking at is the edge in the hits, and who've been consistently hitting. So like Dame here, obviously,
like when he goes over his points, he goes way over.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Because those are opportunities. Like obviously, you want consistency.
In the market. Right.
Obviously, you want consistency, but you also want to beat it by hella.
Hell yeah! You want your bet to cash at halftime. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those type of opportunities, I feel like those are things that we can catch on. But like I said, man, I'm still new to the prop market, and I'm still learning from a lot of the guys like you and Finesse and all those guys. So as far as the prop market goes, I'm still learning. I think that might be like a good way to go. Just seeing where guys have the ability to go over by a lot, so that they could take advantage of those specific type of matchups. But
I see if you bring up Capella game log just like on StatMuse, and we look at that as well in conjunction with this, that might be pretty helpful as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's hella small. The 1L?
Yeah, 1L. Oh, 2 L's. I thought it was. Oh, it is 1 L.
I think
corrected for you.
It did that automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, double and 4 straight.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's a good look. But if you like that's right. And they played at Washington. Man, he smashed them against Washington that day. Yeah. I like that look. That's a dope look. Plus 130. Makes sense to me. All right, let's move. Oh, shit. I didn't even put the banner. Damn it. All right, whatever. I'll need to look at that time log later. All right, let's move on to Cavs and Heat. Well, what did you have anything on this one? Cavs Heat?
I didn't, RC. I mean, I think the total is low for a reason. I'll start by saying that, and I also think that I just think the Cavs are the better team. I know that I think this is the third game in a row at home for them. They did come back home and beat the Atlanta Hawks twice over the weekend, and then they had a day off. But I saw Jay talking about this on his show earlier. Jimmy Butler was actually in LA last night for the retirement of Pau Gasol's jersey.
That quick turnaround.
Yeah, super quick turnaround. Even like what Jay said, as far as him getting on a private jet and flying back home.
Yeah.
What I had in my notes for this game, RC, I looked at, and you can bring this up on the screen. We typically like fading teams off of overtime, but if we look at the Cavaliers off of overtime game this season, RC, let's just look at the Cavs off of overtime game this season. They do well in this spot, right? And of course, that's not going to tell the whole story, but also there's more support towards the under in this spot as well. So I was looking at that. They're a road favorite, which is typical, which is not typical. I see they're not road favorites in the Heat. We talked about this the other day. The Heat are typically not home dogs either. So both of those things I think also kind of point me towards the Cavs in this spot. I think that the difference, RC, because I know we thought about fading the Atlanta Hawks the other day. The difference between the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers is that the Cleveland Cavaliers actually play defense, and Miami could get pretty much whatever it is that they want against the Atlanta Hawks because they're susceptible on the defensive end. Whereas this Cleveland Cavaliers team is really going to be out there, trying to lock you up. So I see a defensive game, and I think the Cavs can win this game. I know the spread's moving in their favor, and I would only agree with the movement, but haven't put it in my pocket yet.
This is one thing I shared this with our group chat last night, but OT and FA. All right, so this is one thing that's been trending so far this season. So a team coming off OT, like you mentioned, like it's nice to have those types of situational spots, right? The OT, the third leg of back, the second leg of back to back, blah blah blah. But so if you look at teams coming off an OT game versus teams not coming off an OT game, and then the team that is coming off the OT game is a road favorite. A lot of these games are going towards the under, 21-7 to the under so far this season. I was talking to Ski last night about this game, and then we saw that 212 and a half. I don't know why I didn't play it last night, but I'm sort of glad I didn't, because now I have a better number to take this under. It did reach 215 and a half at some point. I believe it's still at 215. So some places still have 215 and a half. I still like this. I like this under even more. With that said, I think I broke it down even further. I didn't keep it, so I think it's like they're favored by -7, so 18-3, and then if we say their conference, there you go, 15-0 to the under. So that a lot of things you just dive deeper into it and you find that under spot, right? So that's the reason why I like it. But like I said, I did take it at 215 and a half. I still like it at 215. I like it under the original 212 and a half. So I gotta like it now, right?
I said on my show earlier this morning, RC, I said this total's probably gonna get it's gonna go up because people just see a low total and they automatically think the game's gonna go over. So wait and get the best number.
Let's see.
Nice.
Von said Heat after a win.
Probably continuing to struggle.
Yeah. Damn, they're just like one of the worst ATS teams in the league here.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, but look at that. It also supports the under.
I was gonna say that.
From a prop perspective, are you seeing anything here?
No, I didn't even look at the prop market in this game at all. I see. You got anything you was looking at? I think Evan Mobley could be in play. I just feel like watching the Cavs play lately, RC, he has been like one of the guys that's really picked it up offensively.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could go look at his numbers. Maybe
Allen's been struggling for the most part.
He got played off the floor. He got played off the floor in the last game, RC. He didn't play in that game. I know you were on the under in that overtime game against the Celtics. Yeah. And with the Celtics shifting down to a small lineup, Robert Williams already being out, he got played off the floor and only finished with like 2 points and 4 rebounds or something like that in the last game.
It was kind of crazy when I saw that stat line.
Mm-hmm.
So I see
Evan Mobley no, that's not him.
Well, I put it under ranking here. So if we just go, let's just go to hits. So Mobley has been hitting at a high rate. Mm-hmm. Matchup wise, towards the bottom of the league for rebounds. But I mean, like we're just talking about how Allen's been struggling and it has to go somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of under spots for Miami here for rebounds. The best team at limiting forwards to rebounds. So
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's interesting. If you guys like unders, that might be a good look. Especially if we see a slow ass paced game, right? Mm-hmm. That might be the way that we do it.
I think the Heat team total could potentially go under. I know you talked about the full game under. It could be the pivot to the Heat team total to go under, honestly, because I think the Cavs win the game, but I couldn't talk you up playing the full game under.
The Heat team total under? Yeah. Especially how they've been playing. Yeah. It makes sense to me. But I think either way, I think Cleveland also has been struggling too for the most part. So putting them together might be the best way to go.
If we look at the Heat real quick, we just look at them as home dogs and check their Delta points scored.
Oh, damn. Yeah. They're not home dogs often at all. What about just dogs in general? Oh, okay. Road dogs are fine. Damn, they only average 107.7 per game. That shit's crazy.
Best under team in the league, I see. Shout out to my guy A Wayne.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to the next one. Shit, where'd it go? The next one is Mavs. Wait, did we say Mavs Pelicans? Yeah, Mavs Pelicans. Mavs and Pelicans. I do on this game here. I lean towards the Mavs, and I also lean towards the over in this one. Do you have anything strong on this game here?
This one all you, I see. It's a lot of conflicting things in this game for me, man, that I just
Yeah.
kind of want to sit on the sideline and maybe play this game live if I see something that looks like it got too far out of hand. This Mavs team is on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's their first road game. I think it's their first road game after the All-Star break. They've been, at home comfortable. They have ruled a couple guys out already, which would indicate that the total probably would go over. But the Pelicans are 5-1 to the under post All-Star break and really struggling to score the ball outside of Brandon Ingram. So not a lot to like on the Pelican side. Does seem like a major desperation spot for them too,
Yeah.
RC. And one thing, I saw this on the beat reporter list, RC. I thought this was interesting. I want to share this with you. He said, so the Pelicans they started they didn't play yesterday. The Pelicans did not see, but they started yesterday in 12th place in the Western Conference. But since the Thunder won and the Jazz lost, they actually jumped into 10th. And if the season ended today, they'd be in the play-in game off not even playing and being outside and coming inside. So I think, like from a motivational
The West
spot,
is freaking crazy.
It's
right
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you didn't even play and you jumped up. Like, you know what I mean? So I just think
Can you imagine though, like if they were healthy, if you looking at this, I think didn't they reach first at some point?
They were first for a while.
They were first, they were first before Denver took over.
Yeah.
And then you hit this period of Zion getting hurt and just injuries altogether. And then you just see this cluster of L's.
I think it's 4-17. It was like 4-17 or 5-17, something like that. I think
it's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when healthy, they're a good team. It's just right now they just can't get there. But you're just looking at it, I think it's 9 of the last 10 they've gone under their team total. But if you look at the Mavericks side, this is where it gets like funky, right?
That's why I'm on the sideline. I know what you're about to put in, RC.
Right, the Pelicans, the Mavs are allowing, I think it's like 9 of their last 10 or 8 of their last 10 over their team total. So it's the opposite. But for the most part, if we go to just recent form, I think last 5. Well, let's just say post All-Star break. That's totally fine. If we go defense, Mavs 24th. I think Pelicans right here at 19th. So neither team really is playing great defense, but we do know Dallas is playing really great offense. Pelicans here, man, I really thought they were going to put things together against the Kings team that struggled defensively, and they still couldn't get over their team total in that game. So there has to be some desperation on their side. One thing is, CJ he's playing hurt, obviously. I think they mentioned it during the All-Star break. He's going to play the rest of the way injured. And I think it has to do with because he just has the ability to play and Zion can't. You know what I mean? So they just need an able body. So that's why I was kind of looking towards BI PRA. And if we look at it a little bit, let's just bring it up here. So we go to the current game log. I think I seen it at 35.5 earlier today, but it's at 36.5. And we see that he's been hitting this mark pretty consistently. I think it's like 8 of the last 12 or 9 of the last 12. If we go to Edge House here and we go to the PRA, Dallas is one of the best matchups for forwards for PRA specifically. I think like fourth best matchup or something like that. If it pops up. There you go. PRA. And it just gets stuck here. Not sure what happens, but he's been hitting it pretty consistently, 8 of the last 12. I think when he does go over, he's hitting like the 40, the 41, 42 mark altogether. So he, like we were talking about earlier in the prop section, like if you could see a big gap between what the number that when he hits versus what the number is currently at. That was one thing that I saw in that game, in that prop was Ingram going over by a pretty large margin. He can go over 30 points in general, right? So you're asking for like 6, 7 rebounds or assists. He's averaging 12.1 potential assists per game. I think it's the last 10 games, if I'm not mistaken. Player passing. If we go to the Pelicans, we just go last 10 games in general. He's averaging the most potential assists per game on that squad. So we're asking for just like 5 or 6, like I said, 5 or 6 more rebounds plus assists. I think PRA is a good look here for Brandon Ingram. The other thing was the overlook. I think I had a trend on the over. There you go. All right. So if we go since 2018, teams coming off at least a 3-game homestand versus a team going off a 3-game road trip, and they're flipping spots, right? They're going from road to home, home to road on both of those situations. It's been an overlook, 59.2% to the over. If we say that that road team is the favorite in the game, it gets even better. 67.3%, 37, 18, and 1 to the over, and that says to take this game over. Last 3 games did go under though, so I mean current form not that great, but overall on the season plus historically it has been really good to the over. So I would lean towards the over there. What did you say as far as the total on this one again? Did you have a lean towards the total?
Yeah, I would only play it over 2 RC. I would just hope that the Pelicans could score enough points.
That's
as
the thing,
well,
man. At some point, they gotta put it together offensively. I just don't know.
I know you brought up a lot, RC, but if you look at the Mavs on the second leg of a back-to-back, they are 7-1 to the over in that spot as well. We just really need the. If I knew the Pelicans were going to score,
yeah, that's the biggest drawback for me is can we trust the Pelicans to do their part, right? To get that over, and let's go back to the Pelicans real quick. I just want to see a couple more things. So Pelicans, if we go to their current like bad streak of team total unders, right? Kings here under by a lot, by 6.8, right? They go over against the Blazers.
But they caught the Blazers on the back-to-back too, RC, and we know the Blazers play with pace.
Yeah. But as much as I want to take that over, it's just a tale of two opposites, right? You know what I mean? Like,
what two other things I want to mention. Well, one other thing, Reggie Bullock is listed as doubtful for this game. So I think going back to your PRA look with Ingram, I think that might be the best look in this game, RC, because he would be the guy that's probably going to end up guarding, somebody like Brandon Ingram. And without him, we already know they traded away Dorian Finney-Smith. You're already asking a lot for, a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. to provide so much offense. And Maxi Kleber also, him and JaVale McGee are both listed as out in this game as well. So both of those guys are defensive guys, RC. I looked in the database for Reggie Bullock games when the Mavs playing without him. They're 2-0 to the over. I know it's a small sample, but Maxi Kleber also only brings defense as well. So both of those things would kind of lean towards the over as well. The problem is like you said, do you trust the Pelicans to be able to score, being the more rested team?
Yeah. So this one went from like, I think it was like 7-10 to 4-10 after it moved from 35.5 to 36.5. But during this time frame, he's averaging 36.5 and going when he does go over by margin. Matchup wise, 27th. Fourth best matchup. So yeah, you're right. Who's going to be able to guard the length that Brandon Ingram has? I think there was a couple of other guys who got announced out too. McGee's out. I think Maxi Kleber is out.
And Reggie Bullock. Yeah, all three of them.
All three of those guys are out.
All three defensive guys.
Yeah, and you put other guys on there who are defensive minded. They don't have the length. So I haven't played it yet, but I really want to get there, to be honest.
Same.
I kind of feel like I missed that 35.5, but if he does go over today, it probably goes over by margin. All right, let's move on. Can we trust BI to be consistent? That's the part that I don't know, dude. I think after what we saw with CJ the last game, that injury is affecting him, and so they're gonna have to run through Bi. And like I said earlier, 12.1 potential assists per game in the last 10. So that means there's a lot of opportunity outside of points for him to go over this. You know what I mean? I think rebound chances too. He's at around eight rebound chances a game. Um, so that in itself, that's 20 opportunities outside of just points. Uh, Pace up play too as well. It's like, yeah, I would say would be the way that I go if I don't trust Pelicans to go over at some point. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. I think it is Thunder and Phoenix. We said Thunder and Phoenix, right? Did you have anything on this one?
On the Pelicans and the Kings?
No. Thunder and
Thunder
Phoenix.
Phoenix? Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, RC, about the team totals. I think the spread is a little inflated, which
Yeah.
I as soon as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got ruled out yesterday, we saw that total go. We saw it go up, and I talked about it on my show yesterday. RC, I talked about taking the Phoenix Suns team total to go over even before the game last night because I knew the Oklahoma City Thunder were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. But so one thing I looked at, RC, was the Thunder playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think their opponent team total is something like 6-8 to the over when the Thunder on the second leg of a back-to-back. But the thing that kind of gave me a little hesitancy was that SGA got ruled out. So I was like, man, well, I don't know if the Thunder are going to be able to score, as many points. So when I looked into it a little bit more, the Thunder actually play at the same pace and average the same amount of points with SGA in and out. So that made me kind of jump back on looking at the Phoenix team totals to actually go over. This is KD's first game, as a Sun. The Suns are at home, of course. The Suns are coming off, I think, a 3-game road trip. They've had 3 games so far. RC, the Phoenix Suns have with KD. All 3 of them have been on the road. All 3 of them against pretty slow-paced teams. They beat the Bulls, they beat the Hornets, and they beat the Mavericks. So now you're coming home and you're playing against another really fast-paced team. We know that OKC is top 5 in pace, and they're very young too. So I still expect them to be able to run in this spot or see a lot of support towards the over. And if I'm looking at the over, I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns team total to go over as well. Probably first quarter, I think it's like 32.5. They've been coming out dominating first quarters, and probably the first half over as well.
Yeah, so like you, I was expecting an under type of trend without SGA. Man, they've been going over recently. If we look at the last 5 games, so we start from here, 2023. These were all prior to the new year. They did go under. This one pushed, but these here, none of these games went into overtime, and they're going over the total for the most part. This one did go over. Sorry, did go under by the hook, 239.5, the highest total in this on this trend, and they only went under by a half point. So a lot of things to me pointing towards the over. I wanted to actually focus on the Thunder team total instead of the Phoenix team total. To the the Thunder team total to the over, because when I looked at it this morning, it was 110. The Thunder team total was 110. If you look at this list here, 8 of the 9 games are at 115 or greater, and then this is the one that went under. And if we look at that game, this was the second game of the season, and this was and they were automatically on the first second leg of back-to-back games. And I think they played the Nuggets that first game as well, and it was a letdown spot. I believe the Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, the Thunder won that game. Let's actually look at that. Didn't the Thunder win that first game against the Nuggets?
I can't remember. RC, that was a long time
I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, they covered. They didn't win. Okay, they covered. I think they really had an opportunity to win that game though, if I'm not mistaken. But so yeah, so sort of a letdown spot there. That's, I would say, why another reason why they went under. But for the most part, a lot of things are pointing towards that over there. I get what you're saying with the over on the Sun side too, because if you look at just the last couple games for the Suns, with KD playing regular minutes, they went over their team total by double digits both times. Both of these games he went over 30-minute mark. This one, I think he stayed at the 25-minute mark. But I can only look towards either. Do we just look at the fucking full game over,
I
full
think it's
game
the
over
full
then?
game over. See, just because one thing we know about the Suns is they play pretty slow. But if we think that they're gonna be influenced by the speed of the Thunder, because the Thunder like to play fast, they don't care about playing fast. Like they can get up and down the court as well and score points. They
Yeah,
got campaign back now. They got a bunch of guys that can shoot the ball, and I don't think that the game's gonna be that close. But I do expect the Suns to be able to kind of keep it going. I see it. So another thing I see is when these two teams played each other. I know it was recently when they just played each other. That game went over as well, and we saw the Suns just kind of let up on the defensive end. You see that one
yeah,
in there, I see.
yeah. Uh, SGA didn't play that game either.
Right, right. So we on the same wavelength there. He didn't play in that game, and I mean we see that total went over as well. That's what it kind of feels like to me, like
Yeah,
maybe a 130 to 115 type game. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I
Like,
still yeah, just outscore them. Like y'all got the greatest team in the NBA as far as like being able to score, and they've already been over their team total in every single game. It's probably
yeah.
gonna be a big motivational spot for KD. Wanting to put on for the fans in Phoenix. A lot of people in Phoenix gonna be excited for the game. So I like the full game to go over. I see because I thought the Suns would probably slow down the Thunder, but I think the Thunder can still score even without SGA in this spot.
I think so too. Like I think when I initially saw this number at 13 and a half, even without SGA, I was like, I feel like the Thunder can take that. But at the same time, you look at the opposite side, you see KD and Booker. The way that they've been playing, dude, like I don't know who can really stop them at this point. Um, as far as that combination, KD and Booker, I was thinking, all right. So if you look at the Suns here, this is another thing that I was looking at as well. I wouldn't. I want to say this is sort of a sandwich spot. All right, so we got the Mavericks, right? They just played the Mavericks. They played a really great game there offensively. They didn't play great defense, but now you got a Thunder team. I know they're in the running for the playoffs, right? The play-ins, but at the same time you got the Kings, Warriors, Bucks up next. The next three games here. Thunder on the second leg of back-to-back games. You see a 13 and a half point line here. I just feel like this is a sandwich spot. They're not going to care about the defensive side of the ball, but it is sort of a homecoming for KD, right? It's a homecoming for KD. Also, oh yeah, like Daniel mentioned, right? His old team, the Thunder. I think they want to give KD a great showing in this first game, and obviously that's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. So two things was all right. Well, I think the Thunder can cover, but at the same time, the Suns can score 130 against this team easily, right? But why? What motivation do they have to play defense, right? None. So that's why I was looking at the Thunder team total over. But you're bringing up really great points for the Suns team total over. So now just take the over.
I see one more thing to mention real quick. Like let's look at the Thunder on the second leg of a back-to-back game. And this is why I started yesterday. I was like, okay, they'll be on the second leg of a back-to-back. Look at the
Yeah,
opponent's team totals in those situations. I see.
the last few.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, what about this? Let's go back here and say. Hopefully, he had some. Ew, 2-2. All right, but those were earlier, like I mentioned earlier in the season. So that first game against the Wolves, Grizzlies here. The two that are more recent went over, giving up 124, 123. What is that team total for the Suns?
123, 122 and a half, 123 and a half, I think.
So they already played that game and went over.
Mm-hmm.
They let the Lakers score, and that's without LeBron because that was
Mm-hmm.
March. Wait, was it March? Did LeBron play that game? They probably March 1st. When did he get injured?
That was the game that Braun broke the record.
Oh yeah. That's what that. Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't because that's at home. The Lakers were at home when Braun broke the record, so it was the game before.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thunder.
Braun didn't play that game. Him and AD didn't play that game. I see. That was
March.
the most
Oh yeah,
recent
this
one.
is the game that he broke the record. It's like
Yeah.
a month ago. All right,
Right.
so this one, Braun did not. Damn, nobody played that
Yeah, that's
game.
why I said, yeah, that was the game.
What
That was the
the?
game. Yeah, and they still won. They ended up being 4-point dogs in that game, I think. Yeah, I remember that game. I was on the Lakers in that game.
Nobody played. Um, I say just that full game over, dude. I
Yeah,
think that
I'm
I
with
think
you.
that's the way to go.
I'm with you, RC. I didn't even think about the letdown spot. That's the thing about Let's Cap. I love that weekend because you brought up a different angle. I hadn't even thought about the sandwich spot for him. And
Yeah,
they
I was
still
looking
gonna
at
be
their
able to score.
schedule. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna be able to score. No SGA. Kendrick Williams is Jalen Williams also hurt, RC. Like he's not playing in this game, so still gonna be more. A lot of opportunities for other guys to be able to score the ball.
uh, Zachariah here. KD owns OKC, so I looked up his game log versus the Thunder. He definitely does.
Yeah, KD owned a lot of
Isn't his
teams.
PRA? What is his PRA right now? Isn't it like 36 or something? 37?
Let's see. Let's take a look.
KD. Where is he? 37 and a half. How's he not hitting that?
if it's a super big blowout.
Could be. I mean, it makes sense to me. 37 and a half. Where's Booker at? Booker's
20.
at 30. They're both at 37 and a half.
Yeah, I see Booker already up to 38 and a half too. He's been the beneficiary. I see. I was on his points in that game against the Mavs.
Do you have a book that has the combining players like Booker and KD over PRA?
Nah,
Have you seen that before?
Nah, nah, I wish.
Yeah, if you have that though, I seen it. I think this is one where you take KD and Booker over PRA combined because if one takes over and the other doesn't, they still put enough stats to get that over. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna end up taking that one over, dude.
Me too. Me too.
What did it open at?
I think it's up just a tad bit. I think it actually came down. Didn't it come down?
234 and a half. Went down to 233. Yeah. What are we missing?
Nothing. I think people just think that they won't be able to score. We already did the work.
I see that RC bio. Yeah, that makes sense. He's talking about that adding the two people combined. Okay. Mavs Pelicans wait, did we talk about Mavs Pelicans? We did. Oh, yeah. Nuggets. Denver Nuggets is the other game. Nuggets and Bulls. This one, I like the first quarter on the Nuggets side. I also lean towards the under. Did you have anything specific on this one?
Nuggets first quarter RC is what I was looking at as well. And then I kind of lean towards the over. Not based on trends or stats RC. It's just more so like, is Denver going to be motivated to play against a Chicago team? You know what I mean? More so one of those type like looks, but definitely more so towards Denver first quarter. I feel like this is the spot they should get out. I was on them the last game against Toronto, and they kind of stunk it up in the first quarter. And I actually probably should have lost that game outright, but they got the Scott Foster special, to help them win when they threw Scotty Barnes out the game. But looking at this game, I see what I had in my notes was just Chicago being pretty poor right now. They're 3-7 last 10, 2-8 against the spread, just 12-18-1 against the spread on the road. The Bulls' first three games, RC, they were actually really good. They had that honeymoon phase with Patrick Beverley. They went under. They went under.
Like the best defense ever.
It was three straight unders, RC, and they won. I think they won those games and covered all of them as well. And since then, they actually 3-0 to the over. And they've allowed their opponent to go over their team total and all three. You see those?
Yeah, 87, 82, and then all of a sudden you see these here.
Right. So so look at that. So the Pistons scored 115, the Suns scored 125, and the Pacers scored 125. The Denver Nuggets have the most efficient offense in the NBA. Like it just feels like to me this could be a bad spot for Chicago. RC. I also looked at one more thing I wanted to mention. RC. Yeah. Bulls are just 1-5 straight up and against the spread as road dogs in non-conference games, losing by average of 10 points. So I don't know if Denver wants to smash these guys or not, but if they play basketball the way that they typically do, it could be a bad spot for the Chicago Bulls who struggle to score.
The Nuggets don't have a look ahead, not at all. It's
right, not to the Spurs, right? Yeah, I looked at that too. Yeah.
And they're not that far away as far as like travel goes. It's so because they're going road home. They don't have they're just gonna smash the next few games here. But one thing that I looked at while focusing on that first quarter here, so we got the Nuggets at home following a home game, and then they didn't cover that last game. Their average first quarter margin is 10 points itself. So I mean, obviously they're covering that full game here, but for me, I want to focus in on that first quarter because that's where they smash. That's the only way that I could go. Did you said you were kind of leaning towards the over, and then I was kind of no wait, was I? Yeah, you were leaning towards the over, right?
Just because what I just showed you, I just feel like the Bulls in a major letdown spot. I know that they're more motivated team in this spot, and maybe that kind of keeps it close. But I just kind of talked about this the Bulls going 3-0 to the over. Now you get one of the most efficient offenses in the NBA. And good luck to Vucevic because he's gonna have his hands full tonight with Jokic, who pretty much getting a triple double every time he step on the floor. Look at this real quick, RC. Look at the Bulls as road dogs in non-conference games.
Yeah.
So more support towards your first quarter, but then on the Denver side, RC, I looked at the Nuggets as home favorites in non-conference games as well to see if they take these games serious or not. And so look at the Nuggets real quick, RC. Last thing, the Nuggets real quick as home favorites in non-conference games as well. They're scoring 121 points in this spot. So, I don't know if Chicago can keep up, but to me, it just feels like the Nuggets should be able to get to their team total, which is only like 116 and a half, I think right now, 117 and a half.
Yeah. That's I think what's that a number that I see earlier? Because I was kind of looking towards that if I wanted to pivot, but I just feel like, well, I mean, the numbers come down like 4 points, right, from open.
I think it did.
Is it 4 points from open? So there might be that opportunity to buy back on that over. Obviously, at 229, I did like the under. I was too late. I didn't take it.
Same.
But maybe you like the first quarter too, though, right?
Yeah, no, I love the first quarter. And they owe me first quarter money because they lost it the other day against Toronto Raptors. So I'm probably most likely, I haven't placed it yet, but I'm probably gonna play that first quarter too.
All right, so if we go, it's that back-to-back home games for the Nuggets that are just like really good. We just do that in general, right? Back-to-back home games.
That's what I always look at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's their spot. Obviously, like you said, they didn't cover this one here. They did not. I think they bounced back and covered this one. That's the reason why I looked at the back-to-back and then not and cover. Because if we look at this, there's only 4 games to look at, so I'll just go into them. So against the Wizards, they beat them by 7. That covers. Against the Nuggets, there were dogs. They beat them by 21. Obviously, that covered. Blazers beat them by 3. The line was 5.5. They covered that one barely. And then the Pacers here, they beat them by 9. They covered that. I just feel like it's a get in and get out type of situation, right?
I can see it. Mitch said, "Have we looked at the first quarter report? Might be looking into deep, but the Bulls have been good in the first quarter lately, and I know that they have been. I thought about that as well. One of the reasons why I haven't made it official yet, because the Bulls typically, if they come out with something, it's typically in the first quarter. But Jokic plays the whole first quarter, and they haven't played any of those first quarters in Denver. So,
yeah.
What do you see on Chicago's side?
So we're looking at the last 10 games. They have been playing well. Offensive rating, defensive rating, pace 24. I wish this was split home road.
You go to EV Analytics to look at the first quarter spreads on the road.
Let's look at that. Eight and 2. On the road last 10. That's pause. That's a pause there. And the Nuggets have fallen 4 and 6. Last 10 at home. I don't like you, Mitch. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. To me, situationally, it's still that spot.
What if we looked at the Bulls real quick, I see just their last 10 road games and see where they played them at? Not to dissect each one, but I'm just curious, like, who they've been playing on the road in those spots in the last 10.
How the fuck they covering all these and they're losing? Um, Pistons,
Oh, so
Raptors.
what you're telling me is to take them live, RC. Okay, I get it. They're covering the first quarter, but losing the full game by, and it's not even close. So if I get a live line on the Nuggets, I probably get them at like 4.5, 5.5, and I just take that spot.
All right, let's look at this one more time. Do we just take the fucking full game then on the Nuggets?
I guess that's what it looked like. They're losing the first quarter by 4 on average. But maybe if we just do this year, just do like they haven't. That's the other thing I see. They haven't played a non-conference game as a dog. And I mean, look how long ago they've only played 2 this calendar year. Well, one this calendar year, and that was just
Yeah,
against the
one.
Grizzlies. What happened in that game in the first quarter?
He's got to, yeah, don't overthink it. Yeah. Wait, love how y'all interact with chat. We not in here talking to our yeah. Yeah. The Bulls have been getting, yeah. I don't know, man. What the fuck is this popping up here? Okay.
They got smashed in the first
They
quarter
got
in that
smashed.
last one.
Come on, man. I'm going with the Nuggets. I'm gonna take it. I'm taking it. If they don't, sorry, here, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna take the Nuggets first quarter. If they
If
don't
they don't
cover,
cover
I'm
it, you're
taking
gonna
them
take it
live.
live.
I'm taking them live. If they cover that
was,
first quarter, I'm just gonna keep my money and leave it at that.
I'm doing the same thing because you read my mind. I'm doing the
Yeah,
same
there you
thing.
go. First quarter. I think that's all the games we really wanted to touch on. The what time is it? 12. It's almost okay. 12. What else was there? So there was what games was it? There's was it just the Blazers and the Celtics that we didn't touch on?
Yeah, we talked about the over.
Blazers Celtics.
Yeah, Blazers Celtics over, and we didn't touch on Toronto and the Clippers. Those are only 2 games. I think we did all the rest of them. Yeah, we did all the rest of them.
All right, hold on. What do you got? Do you have time?
Yeah,
You good?
yeah.
Let's do let's cap squad ride. Hey, I can't be taking punts squad ride, man. That's his. Let's do fuck it, let's just do them all. All right, so Blazers and the Celtics. All right, so Blazers and the Celtics. I think you said you like the over in this one, right?
I do. I see.
I was looking at initially I was looking at the Celtics here. And here is why. So this is a season long trend. This season long, 58, 28, and 1 against the spread. Home teams who are more rested. Sorry, less rest. Home teams that are less rested than their opponent. What the? Home teams that are equal or less rested than their opponent. They played each other earlier this season and they lost. Wait, this is a revenge angle? So what did the Blazers beat the Celtics earlier this season?
They did.
I'm
They
already
strictly
confused
did.
of my own trend.
Yeah, I was gonna
Hold
say
on.
they did. I don't remember.
Hold on. Season makes me look hella bad. 2022. Oh, it's previous season. I didn't put season equals P season. Damn. All right, so this don't account. I don't want to look at a game from the previous season. Typically, I use P season equals season to make sure it was like a in season revenge
Season
game.
revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I don't want to look at this one anymore. That doesn't work. I don't want to show that. All right, so you had the over. You were looking towards the over. What were your thoughts on it?
Let's look at teams RC that are coming off not even this season. Let's just look at teams coming off uh 2 overtime games in a row.
I feel like IBB mentioned this one a while ago too.
And now they're a favorite of 10 points or more.
So we've been going over recently.
2
Here,
overtime games in there as well.
damn, they
Uh,
went 3 overtimes in a row.
yeah. The other thing I looked at, RC, like if we just looked at the Celtics, right? Let's just look at the Celtics real quick, because I think there's been some talk about, and I kind of mentioned this as well, like just like the Celtics maybe kind of falling back down to earth. They haven't been the greatest team recently. So if you just go to the bottom, RC, and look at their last few games, like they've really kind of struggled to score. Um,
Sorry, what were we saying? Celtics
no,
and
just go to the bottom. Let's go. Let's
oh,
just
okay.
look at their last few games. Like last 6-7 games. They really, like, we can see there that they've kind of struggled just a tad bit. You take out that Knicks game, they haven't been scoring. We know that this team was scoring 120 points at will,
Yeah,
but also actually look at the teams that they've been playing. Cavs, top team in the East. Knicks, top team in the East. The Nets, they had a 27-point lead in that game, 24-point lead in that game, and blew it. Cavs again, Knicks again, Sixers again. So to me, this kind of feels like an offensive explosion type game, RC, because one thing about Portland is their defense is horrible. If you go back to NBAstats.com, RC, and look at those advanced stats, the Portland Trailblazers, look at them post All-Star break, just defensive rating.
120.
No other team that they've been playing recently is even close. You know what I mean? We're talking about the Knicks. We're talking about the Cavs. We're talking about the Sixers. So to me, it just kind of feels like an offensive explosion is coming. We know Jason Tatum didn't play in that last game. They also get Al Horford back. Both of those guys will be back.
Who's in for today? Who's out? Because I know they've been kind of having that rotation of players, kind of having that load management or injuries. So who is in and who's out?
Robert Williams as well. I see Robert Williams is still out as well. They have a full squad. Everybody else, Peyton Pritchard, I think, is listed as questionable because he did get hurt a little bit on that game-winning layup attempt he tried at the end of regulation. But everybody else is there. They have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. We know Brogdon hasn't been playing. He came back in that game against the Cavs and scored 24 points. So they have full squad minus Robert Williams, who only impacts the game on the defensive end. When you first started telling me about queries last year, RC, and we was running them with the players on Give Me the Dog before they changed it to the new format, Robert Williams was the first guy that I learned about. You told me you was teaching me about like how to look at games, how he influences the total, and that's still relevant this year. It hasn't been big, but if you go to Spodevs, RC, and you run that, you look at that, or you go to Give Me the Dog because Give Me the Dog's pretty cool now that they got theirs updated as well. But looking at the Celtics without Robert Williams III, make sure you put the third in there too, RC, because it's not going to pop up. But if you look at Robert Williams III, Celtics without him, they still, average more points without him, and they give up more points without him as well.
He's been out that many games. If we look at recent form too, a lot of the overs.
Mm-hmm. What is that? I see like 7-2 or something like that in the last 9.
8 of the last 10 over.
Yeah, 8 of the
A
last.
lot of OT games. Look at 4 OT games. That's crazy. I know YBB likes taking OT OT props plus like 1,000.
So now let's put them in RC and see, and also look at that number. They give up what, 113?
Yeah.
Average 119.
Yeah, so it's about like 8-9 points less total combined.
Yep. So I think he has, he still has a tremendous impact. And full squad guard wise, I feel like they can go over the total for this one.
If we go Blazers, so Celtics, man, their current form is just bad in general. Like, but it's on the defensive side of the ball, not the offensive side of the ball. Other thing too, though, like if you look at both of these games, they would have went under in regulation, right? Yeah, this is the fucker that killed me the other day.
Yeah, it did.
So this one went under in regulation. This one probably went under in regulation too, right? 34 points. I'm pretty sure they scored 34 in two. Yeah, they did. So no, that one went. It was tied in that first. It pushed in regulation and then went over in OT. Because I'm pretty sure someone like. I believe that's what happened. I think they pushed in regulation, then went over in OT, and then It makes sense. The way you're thinking. All these cluster of conference games that play strong defense, right? Boom, 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 boom. Most of those probably under for the most part. This one did go over by a little bit, but it was a low total. And then you finally see someone who don't play defense. You got the Pacers and the Pistons.
Eyes light up.
Yeah.
Let's look at it real quick, RC. Let's look at the Celtics as home favorites against non-conference opponents. We know that they go under against conference opponents. We do know that.
Ugh. Not really. I mean, because you got two OTs here.
Overtimes, yeah.
Lakers. So Warriors.
Have they been doing their part? Delta Point scored 4-1 to the team total over.
I mean, if we just go to the Blazers side, we already know that they're giving it up, right?
Yeah. I just talked about it. Yeah, they're definitely giving it up.
We say I feel like it's not strong enough for me.
Yeah,
it's a good look though.
They gave up 119 RC to the Magic, like just a few days ago.
Yeah, that's 3 straight or two after the post All-Star break. This one went under full game, even though they gave up.
You know that was which one you talking about? I see the Hawks game.
Hawks game, man.
You remember we talked about that game? That was last Friday. We talked about that game going under. Remember the total was high, and I said let's take because
we took it. I remember that one. Yeah,
back to back.
That was that Friday that we had a good Friday.
Yeah, that was last Friday. Yeah. Yep. So we predicted that one right as well. This one to me just feels like the Trailblazers should be able to score, especially with no Robert Williams, and that the Celtics should be able to get to their team total as well.
So you're saying Celtics team total or the full game over?
Or the full game over. One of the two. I feel like the offensive explosion has to be coming here soon. Honestly, like I just feel like it has to be, especially with them having full squad
and on a losing streak.
Like it's granted those games have been going overtime, but Tatum, like I said, Tatum's healthy. Like Tatum is not playing. He didn't play in that game that went to overtime.
All right, so they've been on 2 3-game losing streaks this season. They went over both. Well, this one went over in OT. Man, these fucking OTs are killing me.
They love OT, I see.
Celtics.
See how they play after a previous overtime game.
Look at their first half, man. It doesn't make no sense. Oops. This is just way too much.
Yeah.
All right, last one is the Clippers game. We talked about this a little bit earlier, right, Chris? The impact of Westbrook. We'll just bring that up right now before we get started capping it, but just Westbrook in general. So we got Clippers, Pace with and without. So we go with and without Russell Westbrook this season. This is with him, 101.85, 96.75 without him. We go down here, just look at the average points per game, 125.5. But that does include that 175-point game, like whatever with double OT. So that kind of messes this up a little bit. But if we're looking at efficiency and pace, that's consistent, right? That's not like a total that we're looking at. So pace wise, definitely above. If we go at offensive rating, they increase by a small margin, 2.4 points offensive rating increase with versus without him. But this is where that big gap is, dude, is the defensive rating. 122.8 versus 114.3. They just not playing any defense at all. It could be who they've been playing, right, recently. So if we look at the Clippers, obviously the Kings is one of the better offensive rated teams in the league. Right.
The Nuggets are too.
The Kings, you got the Kings twice. You got the Nuggets. You got well, that's it. Wolves have been inconsistent. Warriors, I don't think what's the name was there yet, but they still lost that game. In Grizzlies without Ja and all those guys. The only way that I could look is either the over or the Raptors team total over. But if you want to go from a prop perspective, I still like where's he at? Westbrook over assists. Because he's been getting his number hasn't changed from 6.5 for a while. He's only gone over it in 3 of the last 6 games with the Clippers. But if you look at his opportunities, he's getting a lot of opportunities per game. 12 potential assists per game, and you got his number at 6.5. I gotta think at some point these guys are gonna be able to make the shots, because there was one game where I had his over 6.5 and nobody made anything. Like they shot like I don't know what they shot, but they lost that game pretty badly. Didn't go over. But I can only look towards that way. Pace of play, right? Offensive efficiency probably going to get a little bit better here as they continue to gain some chemistry. That would be the way that I go. It's either over, Raptors team total over, or that Westbrook assist over. I think some guys been hitting that Kawhi over threes too, right? What are your thoughts on this one?
I agree. I didn't think about the pivot to the team total, because if you like the Raptors, so one thing I think is, we should mention, RC, is that I think if you look at Westbrook, if you look at the Clippers with Westbrook, they're 7-2 to the over since he got there. Just giving it up, like you said, the defense has taken a tremendous hit. So I think the pivot towards taking the spread would be that team total, especially with the line coming down. I know it opened at 3, it's down to 2.5 at most books right now. I think that could be the look, RC. And for a couple reasons, I want you to put this query in, but I also want you to look at one more thing real quick to see if it kind of aligns with that, maybe the Raptors team total to go over.
All right, so Westbrook in
4-2. I said 7-2. I meant 4-2. Okay.
4-2 to the over.
Giving up 131 points. Of course, that's with the Kings game. Can we take that Kings game out?
Yeah, let's take that. Yeah, I was gonna say that. OT. So we took that Kings game out.
And they give it up. How much is that? 122?
122 points. Let's just take out all the OTs. Right. So we'll just say on average 120.
They're giving up 120?
Yeah. All right, so we go. If we
hold on real quick.
Go ahead.
So go back to that screen one time. How many teams have gone under 114.5?
Just Wolves.
Just the Wolves. Yeah. So the Raptors team total is 114.5 today.
If we do include the OT though, both of those other teams would have been over in regulation. So it would be only the Wolves staying under. One thing that I did know, right? Because we were just talking about the effect of Westbrook, but if you look at it and we say Clippers at home, they've been actually struggling before Westbrook came. This is shit. Let me take that home off. Right here. So was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? 10 of the last 12 went over their team total. A lot of these were actually before Westbrook came. So even their offense got a little bit better. That's just, it has to be an over or nothing for me.
Yeah, he speeds up the pace, RC. One more thing I want to look at, RC, is the Raptors. If you look at the Raptors as road dogs, so they're what? Just 7-14, 12-9 against the spread. But a couple of those games actually come on second leg of back-to-back. So add 1 day of rest in there, RC. So now they go to 9-5 against the spread. We see how tight those games are, 112 to 112. What about their team total? I see. Are they covering in those? Are they getting to their team total in those spots, or are they limiting their opponents in those spots?
Team total opponents kind of going. I mean, both of them going over as far as if we're looking at percentage wise.
So they've gotten to their team total over more than they've went under, right?
Yeah.
only 5 times they went under out of what 12. So
Six,
7 and 5.
6 out of 14.
6 out of 14.
6 out of 14 went under their team total.
Okay, so 8 out of 14 went over.
Yeah.
Which okay, and what about if we add that they won those games? I just want to see how many they scored in the wins.
So the wins. Oops.
Yeah, just like add the win. They only scored 111 in those games.
111.
Okay. Damn. Kind of makes me want to talk.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, that's probably why we didn't like these games to begin with, right?
Yeah. It's a funky
All
ass slate, RC. So for us to talk for an hour and 10 minutes, bro.
All right. So that's it. That's all the games there. I guess the last two, at least we talked it out and we didn't come up with nothing. And that kind of goes to show that our process before we get into this, it kind of makes sense, right? We didn't like it. We still don't like it. The earlier games, though, Chris, let's start with you here. What are your what are your thoughts on officials you want to give out today?
Yeah, so Atlanta, Washington, RC. I talked about it this morning. Really, really like that look. The total to go over. I played at 234.5. I know it's shot up just a tad bit. Both of these teams are off tomorrow, and both of these teams kind of need the game as well. Atlanta, what they do best is score the ball. And Washington with Porzingis, Kuzma, and Bradley Beal all in as home dogs typically score the ball as well. They're 3-1 to the over in that spot. So I like that one probably the most out of everything that we talked about, RC. Also, looking at Phoenix and OKC to go over. Really like the over in that game just because OKC plays at such a fast pace, even without SGA, and they have the youngest team in the league. So I don't think the second leg of a back-to-back is going to really slow them down much. And you talked about the sandwich spot for Phoenix as well. Not a game that they're going to be extremely motivated to play a lot of defense in. So I think that total goes over to 233.5. Still want to do a little more work before I get there on Boston and Portland to go over to 230, but I like that look as well. And then I know I got Mitch mentioned it on the side. I see in the comments, but we didn't talk about this one, but a prop in that last game, Fred VanVleet to go over his 7.5 assists. I know Munaf mentioned it in the chat as well. I think that's a really solid look. Something that he's been cashing. I think maybe 3 for 3, 4 for 4 in his last 4 games.
All right, say that.
Fred VanVleet to go over his 6.5 assists, 7.5 assists.
Yeah,
he's been cashing that number. So really, really like those looks if I'm playing anything on the card today. Also, slight lean to the Cavs. I think they did it just a better team. I want to get there on Toronto team total over too, RC, but I'll probably leave that one off.
I think I'm gonna leave that one off too. So for me, I did take the Cavs and the Heat under 215. I might have gotten that 250. I gotta check, but I think I got it at 215.5 before it went down. But I like it at the 215. I liked it at the original number, like I said last night, which was 212.5. So I gotta like it now at the 215. The other things that I'm looking at, I like your breakdown on that Wizards Atlanta over. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna get there, but I do like the Wizards plus the points. I think it's 3.5 still.
4, right?
No, it's coming down to 3 already. I think I'm gonna grab it pretty soon. Circa has it at 3. We were right when we were talking about it. It was at 3.5, and then someone was at 4. So we got to get it sooner if you like the Wizards. The other thing is Denver first quarter. Phoenix and Thunder over. The Mavs and Pelicans, dude. I got some stuff on the over and the Mavs. I still like those spots. I know we didn't. I think what we broke down wasn't that great or like supportive of it, but the trend, the systems that I have on it have been pretty good. So I might get there with it. I think I'm just gonna wait it out to see where it comes out because it's coming down to 1.5 at circa 234 is the total. I feel like they're gonna go over that still. I think that's it. I think that's all the stuff we looked at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, that's all I wrote down. Hopefully we cash some tickets today. I'm going to be adding some of those games that we talked about here to my card. Any last words before we cut out, Chris?
Nah, that's it. RC. Let's make it a profitable day. Always appreciate you having me on the show, my guy. Let's cash.
Let's do it. All right. Well, with that said, guys, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys, if you guys can, man, just share it out. I know my show isn't like for everybody, it's a long show. We get very detailed. A lot of people kind of just like, all right, what's the pick, right? What's the win? What's the, what are we tailing? For the most part, man, that's not what we're like about here on the show. We want to teach. We want to whether we win or lose. I mean, this is information that's facts, right? Like we're not Kendrick Perkins facts. We're real facts, right? So we actually give information that with detailed the numbers, the averages, the trends and stuff like that. But I always want to end the show like this, guys. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Until next time, peace.